बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। जो शेखुल हदीस मौलाना ज़की रहमतुल्लाह अलैह उस हदीस की तशरीह में जो साल इब्न सअद रज़ियल्लाहु तआला अन्हु से मरवी है, फरमाते जिसमें नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम फरमाते हैं कि जा रजुल नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम फ़क़ाल दुल्लनी अला अमलिन इज़ा अमिलतुहु अहब्बनी अल्लाह व अहब्बनी अन्नास क़ाल इज़ा फ़ी दुन्या युहिब्बुकल्लाह व ज़ा फ़ीमा इंदन्नास युहिब्बुकन्नास। नबी करीम Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi is still doing the commentary of a hadith that's narrated by Salih ibn Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a man came to him and said to him, tell me of an action, if I was to do it, then Allah would love me and the people would love me. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, izhad fi dunya, that do zuhad in the dunya, Allah will love you, and do zuhad, and you have no inclination towards that which people have, the people will love you. As Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi, he explains this hadith over a number of pages. This juncture he mentions further on, just towards the end of the commentary, he says, इस जगह दो वाक़े अपने अकाबिर के नमूने के लिए लिखने का दिल चाहता है. He says that my heart yearns to write two stories about my elders, my akabir, as by way of example. एक तो वो मकतूब गिरामी जो शेखुल मशाइख कुतुबुल इरशाद हज़रत गंगोई रहमतुल्लाह अलैह ने अपने मुर्शिद शेखुल अरब वल अजम हज़रत अजीम दारुल्लाह रहमतुल्लाह अलैह की खिदमत में लिखा, जो मकातिब रशीदिया में तबाह हो चुका है. This one is the letter written by Hazrat Qutubul Aqtab, Qutubul Irshad, Imam Rabbani, Hazrat Gangoi Rahmatullah alayhi, Mawlana Rashid Ahmad Gangoi Rahmatullah alayhi, the letter that he wrote to his Sheikh, Sheikhul Arab wal Ajam, Sayyid al-Taifa, Haji Imdadullah Rahmatullah alayhi. And this particular letter, he says, was published in his collection of letters known as Makatib Rashidiyya. So it's a collection of his letters that Hazrat Gangoi Rahmatullah alayhi wrote, been published a few times. There's Fatawa Rashidiyya and there's also Makatib Rashidiyya. And a lot of the letters are to do with tasawwuf. Iske alfaz ye hai, he says that the text is Huzur ne jo banda nalai ke halat se istisfar farmaye. So obviously he's writing in response to Haji Imdadullah Rahmatullah alayh. Haji Sahib Rahmatullah alayh at that time, after 1857, had left for Makkatul Mukarramah, and he was alive there. But they used to stay in murasalat, in contact with each other by letter. And he's referring to a previous letter in which Hazrat Haji Abdullah Rahmatullah alayhi has probably asked him about his halat. So he says that, Huzur, O exalted one, you've asked about this worthless one's halat. Mere ma wara darain is naqis ki kya halat ho. He says, what can this, someone who's inefficient, insufficient, what is my situation? And he says some words of tawazu. और किस दर्जे की कोई खूबी है, what level of greatness is there in me, जो आफ्तार कमालात के रूबरू अरज़ करूँ, that I may present in front of the sun of all perfection, yani spiritual perfection, referring to his Hazrat Bakhuda Sakht Sharminda hu, I swear by Allah that I am extremely ashamed to say anything in front of you. Kuch nahi hu, with complete tawazu, he says, I am nothing. मगर जो इरशाद हजरत है तो क्या करूँ, but the command has come from Hazrat, what can I do? बिना चारी क्या करूँ, बिना चारी कुछ लिखना पड़ता है, without any, there's no will, but without my chara, I have to write something. Hazrat Murshid man ilm zahiri ka to ye haal hai. He says, my Murshid, in terms of my zahiri ulum, yani Hazrat Gangoi Rahmatullah alayhi was living in Gangoh Sharif at the time. Just to contextualize it, and when he's living in Gangoh Sharif, the Khanqa of Gangoh was very famous. It was not just a Khanqa in itself, but it was also a darsgah, in that people used to travel there from throughout the world, throughout the subcontinent, as far as Afghanistan, Bukhara, etc., and they used to come and study hadith by him. And he used to teach the Siyasitta morning to early afternoon by himself. All the siyasitta throughout the entire year. And it was a khanqa that was not just a khanqa, but also a darasgah of hadith. So he says that in terms of the ulum zahiri, in terms of my teaching, etc., in terms of the exoteric ulum, the outward ulum, कि आपकी खिदमत से दूर हुए गालिबन अरसा 7 साल से कुछ ज़्यादा हुआ. It's been 7 years since I've been far from you. So he's talking about 1857, about 1858, Hazrat Haji Imdadullah Rahmatullah alayhi left. left for Makkatul Mukarramah. That's a long dastan and story in itself. Hazrat Haji Sahib Rahmatullah alayh, he stayed hidden for a little while, and then he took a very difficult journey. He says inside the books that he spent quite a few months inside the wilderness in the Punjab, eating the leaves of trees and the grass, because there was a warrant for his arrest. And he says that, then he somehow got to Karachi, and from Karachi he got onto a ship, he went to Makkah. And then in Makkah also many difficulties. He says 7 years, more than 7 years since we've been separated. इस साल 200 इस साल तक up till this year, he says 200 से चंद अदद ज़्यादा आदमी इस ने hadith हासिल कर गए. He says approximately 200 people have studied hadith under me. Means that 200 people have taken hadith sanad, meaning that they've not just come there and taken ijazat from him, but they've actually studied hadith underneath him for the entire year. For one person, 200 students, it's a phenomena. और अक्सर उनमें वो है कि उन्होंने दर्स से जारी किया. He says the majority of them are such, or those who started teaching themselves. और सुन्नत के अहया में सरगर्म हुए, and they are extremely active in reviving the sunnat. और इशायत दीन उनसे हुई, and the spread of religion is happening via them. और इस शर्फ से ज़्यादा कोई शर्फ नहीं, and there's no nobility, there's nothing of honor and prestige aside from this. अगर कबूल और इस शर्फ से ज़्यादा कोई शर्फ नहीं अगर कबूल हो जाए, if it's accepted. There was a very famous Qari, Hafiz al-Quran in South Africa, Hafiz Abdul Rahman Mia Sahib, passed away 2005. All the contemporary ulama, they say, studied hifz underneath him. And Maulana Mufti Saleji, Mufti Taha Karan, all of these people studied underneath him. He was also a Khalifa of Shah Maulana Abdul Ghafoor Abbasi Rahmatullah alayhi, who was a Khalifa of Pir Fazal Ali Qureshi Rahmatullah alayhi. Pir Fazal Ali Qureshi. And also Khalifa of Mufti Mahmud Sahib. When Hazrat Maulana Hakim Akhtar Sahib visited him, by that time hundreds of people had become Hafiz by him. He asked him a question, how many people became Hafiz by you? So he says, Hafiz Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi replied, he says, I don't know, I'll only find out in the grave. I don't know, I'll only find out in the grave. Maulana Taha Karan says, we studied his underneath him, he says maybe at that time we thought he didn't have a number, he didn't list all the people that became Hafiz by him. But when he passed away, they realized that he'd kept meticulous notes of all those people that became Hafiz by him. And he also kept meticulous notes of those people that started hifz by him, didn't finish with him, or did a portion with him, didn't finish by him. So what does it mean? I don't know. I'll only find out in the grave. Maulana Taha Karan Rahmatullah alayh, he mentions that this was the tawazu and the inkisari of Hafiz Sahib Rahmatullah alayh, that even our own actions, we only know the worth of our action, whether it's makbul and kubuliyat in front of Allah Almighty, inside the grave. To Hazrat Gangohi Rahmatullah alayhi, very similar, he says, Agar kabul ho jaye, if it's accepted. Hazrat ke aqdam-e na'alain ke hazri ke samara ka ye khulasa hai, और हज़रत के अक़दाम नालेन के हाज़री के समरा का ये खुलासा के जिदर कल्ब में गैर हक़ ताला से नफ़ा व दरर का इल्तिफ़ात नहीं, जज़र कल्ब में गैर हक़ ताला से नफ़ा व दरर का इल्तिफ़ात नहीं. और हज़रत के अक़दाम नालेन के हाज़री के समरा, and then he says that the fruit and the outcome of coming to Hazrat and standing by his feet, अक़दाम नालेन के हाज़री, yani standing by his feet, yani very words of tawazu. The outcome and the khulasa of this is that the depth of my heart, there is no turning towards anything that's going to benefit or harm aside from Allah Almighty. Then anything that aside from Allah Almighty is going to harm me or benefit me, I have no focus on that. My focus is on Allah Almighty. Wallahi, baaz awqat apne mashaykh ki taraf se alaidgi ho jati hai. He says that sometimes I become separated from the mashaykh, lihaza kisi ke madah wa zam ki parwah nahi rahi. He says, and because of this, I'm not bothered about anyone praising or dham, yani negatively describing me. Or dham or madi ko dur janta hu, in terms of the person who disparages me and the person who praises me, I consider myself to be far from them. And he doesn't care. For the sunnat and the ittiba of sunnat and the work that he's doing, Gangohi Rahmatullah alayhi, he was one of those people, Qami ul Bid'at, one of those people that tackled the Bid'at. So he says that, he's not bothered about those people who praise him or rebuke him. और मासियत की तबन नफरत और इताअत की तबन रगबत पैदा हो गई. He says that my spiritual state is such that naturally I've become completely, I dislike any type of masiyat or sin. And when it comes to doing ibadat, then I have complete ragbat towards this. I want to go towards this. और ये असर इसी निस्बत याददाश्त बेरंग का है. And he says this is the effect of that nisbat. Yani nisbat is a Sufi terminology meaning the connection to Allah Almighty. Yaddasht, again, this is a Farsi term which means that the presence and the marifat of Allah Almighty has taken color. जो मिशकात अनवार हज़रत से पहुंची है, which the light of the lantern of the lights of this has reached me via Hazrat. And he's saying that, the spending time with you and the sohbat with you and the suluk that was done with you, this has now affected me, that I have complete ragbat towards ibadat and nafrat towards any type of sin. पर ज़्यादा अर्ज़ करना गुस्ताखी और शूख़ चश्मी है, and to say anything beyond this is gustaki, would be audacious and disrespectful. I'm not sure what shukh chashmi means. Ya Allah maaf farmana, I have to check in the dictionary, it's a Farsi term. Ya Allah maaf farmana, oh Allah forgive us, कि हज़रत के इरशाद से तहरीर हुआ है, झूठा हूँ कुछ नहीं हूँ. He says that, oh Allah forgive us, I have been asked to say this, write this by Hazrat, I'm a liar, there's nothing else. And he's saying words of tawazu. Tera hi zil hai, tera hi wujud hai. You are the one that gives me, that is present, and that also curtains me or covers me. मैं क्या हूँ, I am nothing, कुछ नहीं हूँ, I'm nothing, और जो मैं हूँ वो तू है, and whatever I am is on account of you, और मैं और तू खुद शिर्क दर शिर्क है. अस्तगफिरुल्लाह 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 ला हौला वला कुव्वता इल्ला बिल्लाह. अब अर्ज़ से माजूर फरमाकर कबूल फरमाए. And then he ends the letter, he says forgive me wassalam. ये गिरामी कदर मकतूब विसाल से 17 साल कबल का है. His Hazrat Sheikh Rahmatullah Alayhi says that this letter was written 16 years before him passing away. इन 17 साल में मदा व ज़म की बराबरी में और गैर हक से नफ़ा व दरर की तरफ अदम इल्तिफ़ात में जो तरक्यात हुई होंगी उनका इदराक भी कौन कर सकता है. हज़रत शेख रहमतुल्लाह अलैहि says that in those 16 years मदह व ज़म की बराबरी, the equalness of any praise or any disparageness, anyone criticizing, और गैर हक से नफ़ा व दरर and की तरफ अदम इल्तिफ़ात, he's not bothered about anything aside from Allah to benefit or harm. And his focus is always to Allah Almighty. The progress Hazrat Gangohi made in those 6 years, who can actually estimate and find out what maqam he was at after that, because there's only progressive progress. दूसरा वाक़या जिसको अमीर शाह खान साहब ने अमीरुल रिवायात में लिखा है, the second letter, the second story is one written by Amir Shah Khan in his book Amirul Riwayat. So the reference here is actually to Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatul, is a book that was written Amirul Riwayat, which is very early gathered stories of the Mashaykh. Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullah alayhi, he took from this book and other books, and he wrote another book known as Arwah-e Thalatha. Arwah-e Thalatha, and the three souls. It's a very important book because Hazrat Sheikh Rahmatullah alayhi also quotes from Arwah-e Thalatha in his book Abiti. So Hazrat Sheikh Rahmatullah alayhi, he takes a story from there. Amir Shah Khan was the narrator. And these are the Buzrugs before, the time of Hazrat Haji Sahib Rahmatullah alayhi and before that. Shah Ismail Shaheed, Hazrat Shah Waliullah, Shah Abdul Aziz, etc. fall into that. वो लिखते ही writes के तहसील सिकंदराबाद में, that in the area of Sikandrabad एक गांव है, there's a village Hasanpur, called Hasanpur. मैंने भी देखा है बहुत बड़ा गांव है. I've also seen it's a very big large village. एक वक्त में मौलवी मोहम्मद इसाक साहब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह दहलवी जो मशहूर उस्ताद हदीस में है, और मौलवी महमूद साहब याकूब साहब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह का था. And this village belonged once upon a time to Shah Muhammad Ishaq Sahib. He appears inside our hadith sanad, the Nawasa of Shah Abdul Aziz Rahmatullah alayh, right? Or Maulvi Muhammad Yaqub Sahib and Maulana Mahmoud Yaqub Sahib also owned this. Maulvi Muzaffar Hussain Sahib Rahmatullah alayh Khandalvi फरमाते थे, Maulana Muzaffar Hussain Rahmatullah alayh Khandalvi फरमाते थे, used to say, Muzaffar Hussain Sahib was the ancestor of Maulana Inam Hassan Sahib, कि Maulvi Muhammad Ishaq Sahib, Maulvi Yaqub Sahib निहायत सख्ती में थे. That there was a time when Maulana Shah Ishaq Sahib and Maulana Yaqub Sahib were in great difficulty. और अक्सर तंगी की वजह से कुछ मलूल से रहते थे. And they used to stay a little bit depressed and unhappy because of this difficulty. I say financial difficulty possibly. लेकिन एक रोज़ मैंने देखा, then however one day I saw both of these, कि कि दोनों भाई, both brothers, निहायत हशाश बशाश है, that both brothers are extremely happy. और खुशी में इधर से उधर आते जाते हैं. And in happiness, they're going from here to there, they're extremely happy. और किताबें यहाँ से वहाँ, वहाँ से यहाँ रखते हैं. And they take in the house, they're taking the books, taking them here, there, and putting them here. और खुशी के लिए there's a spring in their feet. और खुशी के लहजे में आपस में बातें कर रहे हैं. I'm very happily they speaking to each other. मैं ये देख कर ये समझा कि शायद आज कोई बड़ी रकम हिंदुस्तान से आ गई. I then thought that perhaps today a very large amount of money has come to them from India, because Shaykh Sa'd Sahib Rahmatullah alayh, he had migrated to Makkatul Mukarramah, right? So they migrated in the late 19th century to Makkatul Mukarramah. दोनों हजरात मक्का मुकर्रमा में तशरीफ फरमा, as the Sheikh says later, that both individuals had gone to Makkah Mukarramah. जिससे ये इस कदर खुश है, and because of this money that's possibly come to them, because Makkah Mukarramah in those days, you know, it wasn't the petrodollars came. The petrol was found in the 30s, 40s, but the money actually seeped into the community probably in the early 80s, even in the 60s, 70s, a very difficult time. So he says that, you know, maybe some money had come, and because of this they're very happy. Ye samajhkar maine chaha, after seeing this, I wanted कि वाक़ियात दरियाफ़्त करूँ. Ask him what is the situation, मगर बड़े मियाँ से तो पूछने की हिम्मत ना हुई. However, I wasn't able to ask the elderly fellow. छोटे मियाँ से पूछा. So I asked the younger one कि हज़रत आप आज बहुत खुश नज़र आते हैं, या हज़रत today you seem very happy, इसकी क्या वजह है, what is the reason behind this. उन्होंने ताज्जुब के लहजे में फरमाया, very surprisingly, in a surprising voice, he said, तुमने नहीं सुना, have you not heard. मैंने कहा नहीं. I said no. फरमाया कि अगर हमारे गाँव के हमारा गाँव हसनपुर ज़ब्त हो गया, ये खुशी इसकी है क्योंकि जब तक वो था हम वो खुदा पर पूरा तवक्कुल न था, और अब सिर्फ खुदा पर भरोसा रह गया. He says that our village Hasanpur ज़ब्त हो गया, has been, you know, probably taken over by the government, you know, the British government at the time. और ये खुशी उसकी है, and the happiness is because of this. Why? कि जब तक वो था, as long as this village was there, and you know, we had some assets there, land assets from which we could possibly get some money. हम को खुदा पर पूरा तवक्कुल न था. We did not have the full reliance and tawakkul upon Allah Almighty. अब सिर्फ खुदा पर भरोसा रह गया. Now that's gone. We're here. The only thing that we have is complete भरोसा and reliance on Allah Almighty. Hazrat Maulana Shafi Thanvi Rahmatullah alayhi इस वाक़या पर लिखते हैं. So he does, Hazrat Sheikh then mentions that Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullah alayhi इस वाक़या पर लिखते हैं. He writes a commentary. So in Arwai Thalatha, Hazrat Thanvi mentions a few riwayat, then he writes the commentary. Aqulu, that's how he says, Qawluhu, that's how he comments on it. He says इस वाक़या पर लिखते, he writes on this story कि मुझे हज़रत गौसे पाक रहमतुल्लाह अलैह की खुशी याद आ गई. That when I read this story, I remember the happiness of Hazrat Gose Pak. Yani, I think he's referring to Hazrat Maulana Abdul Qadir Jilani रहमतुल्लाह अलैह. कि जिस वक्त खादिम ने एक कीमती आईने के टूट जाने की डरते डरते इस मिसरे से इत्तला दी, that when one of his khadims told him about the breaking, very fearfully and very scared, in a very scared way, one of his khadims who had broken his expensive mirror, he told him and he informed him, and he told him via a poem कि इस अज़ क़ज़ा आईना चीनी शकस्त आपने फिल बदी फरमाए. यानी अज़ क़ज़ा, I think what he means is आईना चीनी, the Chinese mirror has now broken. आपने फिल बदी फरमाया. Immediately he replied, खूब शुदा असबाब खुद बीनी शकस्त. I think and then Hazrat Sheikh Rahmatullah alayhi does a tarjuma कि पहले मसरा का तर्जुमा है कि तकदीर से चीनी का आईना टूट गया. That by fate, by तकदीर, the Chinese mirror has broken. तो दूसरे का तर्जुमा, in response, Hazrat Shah Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah alayhi says, बहुत अच्छा हुआ, it was excellent कि खुद बीनी के असबाब जाते रहे. That the sabab and the means by which we see ourselves, and then by seeing ourselves in the mirror, what then happens is we start feeling good about ourselves. We start getting takabbur, haughtiness, heightiness. We start feeling a bit high about ourselves. Then the means for this has now been broken, so he's actually happy on that. So anyway, so these are the two stories as the Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi ends the commentary on this particular hadith. Inshallah we'll carry on next week. And the hadith next week is an Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha قالت ما شبه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من خبز شعير يومين متتابعين حتى قبض. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala says that Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not eat to his fill from khubz sha'ir, jo ki roti se, for 2 days on the trot, hatta qubis, until he passed away. Yani the poverty of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Inshallah we'll carry on there. There'll be a Dhikr Majlis for a little while. Allah gives us all the tawfiq. Fazail Sadaqat, part 2. And part 1 is very important. Part 2 specifically is really in reality Kitabul Zuhud, the book of asceticism. And this is a genre of hadith literature that the Mashaykh of Tasawwuf often emphasize. Alhamdulillah, the Shaykh Rahmatullah alayh has made it very accessible and soluble for us in a very leisure fashion, that we can actually sit here and partake in these blessed gatherings. Allah gives all the tawfiq. Inshallah, be zikr for 10 minutes, and after that, we'll conclude. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah, 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 Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah, 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 Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah, 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 Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, لا إله إلا الله 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 سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا وسندنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الله 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم